That's your horse, mister? Only a quarter.
Well, he's a smart animal, but he's never been known to untie a knot.
I wasn't thinking of that. It's the perils of natural phenomena.
The what?
Hailstorms, for instance. I could get him to shelter real quick.
Well, now, old-timer, when's the last time you had a hailstorm around these parts?
See now. Must be 10, 11 years.
Well, I'd say you're about due. Seems like a peaceful little town.
Peaceful as they come. Except for last Saturday's fracas. We haven't had a killing here in 5 years, ever since Sheriff Kropp went into office.
Well, judging by the sign outside, I don't see why you should object to a little trouble.
I suppose not. I just couldn't take no pleasure in burying Arnie Ledbetter. Nice young lad like that. Of course, Arnie should have known better than to throw down with Bonner in the first place.
Oh, easy, mister. I almost cut your ear off.
You sure you got your facts straight?
Well, sure. Going up against a man like Ben Bonner is just plain suicide. Here, you can read it yourself. Seen it happen. We're standing at the bar at the Ace High Saloon having a beer. Happened right in front of my eyes.
Give me a towel.
Yeah.
What was the fight about?
Well, nobody seemed to know it happened so fast. Arnie Ledbetter was a big, good-natured Swede. Sober, he'd had sense enough to be scared.
Was it a fair fight?
I used to have a little woman down in Wichita. Had a nasty habit of throwing cookware at me. Well, I didn't think it was fair that I should be a target for a frying pan. Then, on the other hand, she didn't think it was fair that I learned to duck so good. I guess fair is just a matter of your point of view. How would you like some of the finest turkey?
Thanks. How come nobody tried to stop the fight?
Mister, Arnie Ledbetter was a dead man the moment he got into that quarrel. There wasn't no power on earth could have saved him.
But why would a man like Bonner pick on a helpless drunk?
Well, if you want the answer to that question, you better ask Bonner.
I'll do that.
Interested in hearing the rest of it? What he didn't tell you? That gunman, that Bonner? He don't kill for pure pleasure. What he do, it's gotta cost someone. Here he's out of town on a pay job right now.
Do you know who paid for Ledbetter's death?
You see Arnie's girl, Miss Evelyn Nemack. She has that millinery store. Ask her how come Arnie got himself all of a sudden dead. Yeah, that's her place. Mighty tidy parcel, Miss Nemack.
Here, old-timer. Register me in at the hotel. Take care of my horse, too.
I've got to put something on the register book. What name will I sign, mister?
Ben Bonner.
Mr. Beebe, I thought I made it clear I didn't want you hanging around this hotel lobby.
I'm not hanging around. I brought you a customer, friend of mine. Wants your best room.
I don't see a customer.
You will, Mr. Diebler, soon enough.
Check. $1 a day. In advance.
Naturally.
Room 6. Head of the stairs. What's this, some kind of a joke?
And you, maybe.
Cowboy, what does this mean?
Well, how do I know?
Well, you just better know. Look, you...
Later. I'll explain later.
You better explain. You've got a lot of explaining to do.
Oh, don't worry. It doesn't mean a thing. I'll take care of everything.
You're not wearing black.
But if you are, Bonner, then who was the other man?
That's what I'm here to find out. What are you running away from?
It's finished. This, whatever his name is, shot him. Arnie's dead. Why not leave it alone?
I have to find out why. I heard you could help me.
Do you think I'm beautiful?
Yes?
Arnie thought so, too.
Woman can't much help the way she looks.
No, but she can recognize her own power. And that's what beauty is, you know.
I know you're trying to tell me about Arnie's
Do
killing.
I have to spell it out for you? A man was paid. A hired killer. Paid to murder Arnie.
Paid by who?
Arnie was an ordinary sort of boy. Good, kind, but oh so ordinary. A letter came in the post today from Arnie's father. He's on his way here for the wedding. You're still wondering what I'm running from? How do you tell a man? Your son is dead. Because of me.
Who underwrote the killing?
I didn't mean anything by it. You've got to believe that much. I never dreamed it would end up this way. To evade compliments by a gentleman. A man of breeding and refinement. Do you know what that means to a girl in a town like this? It was something I needed. I was just being gracious. You wanted a name. Elston Dibler, the hotel owner.
Thank you.
You see why I'm not wearing black. It wouldn't be proper. Even now, I don't know that I really meant to marry Arnie. Maybe deep down, I was hoping, waiting for something. I don't know.
Kind of a drastic way to break an engagement.
There he is, Sheriff. Civic Reception Committee. That's him, Sheriff. Tell him.
When I need instructions from you, Cowboy, I'll get in touch. What's your business in Grizzly Hill, mister?
I'm waiting for Vint Bonner.
I hear you call yourself Bonner.
That's why I'm waiting.
Well, there's two possibilities. A coincidence in names.
He's lying, Sheriff. There's only one Vin Bonner.
Well, that's the other possibility.
There's only one sure way to find out.
Not in my town. I don't care a particle who's the genuine Bonner. You boys want to decide the issue? Decide it somewhere else. And I want you out of town come sunup, mister. No ifs or buts.
You gonna do as he says?
What's the Sharpie got to do with it?
Cowboy's found a steady meal ticket in that new boy of his. He sets up the action, gets a slice of the pie for his trouble.
Bonner? I don't wear a gun.
What's the going price of a lovesick young Swede on the hoof?
I want to make it clear I'm not going to fight you.
Of course not. A man of your breeding and refinement would find someone else to do his fighting for him. Stay where you are so I can keep my eye on you.
I don't know what she told you.
You know exactly what she told me.
Arnie Ledbetter was nothing to you. You didn't even know him.
I know him now. How much?
Well,
How much?
it's $1,000.
You want to fix blame. It was her fault. She led me on, played up to me. She's nothing but a cheap little flirt. I'm not going to fight you.
You may not have a choice. Someone used my name to kill a man for money. Before I leave tomorrow morning, I'm going to clean that up. Whatever it takes to do it.
Cost you another $1,000.
You dirty chiseler. You and that ringer. None of this would have happened if you hadn't palmed him off as Vint Bonner.
Oh, wait a minute. You wanted a professional. Someone whose reputation would guarantee the quality of his work. Well, there wasn't time for my boy to build up a trademark, so we borrowed Bonner's. You got no beef. We delivered.
Yeah, trouble. A wagon load of trouble, and by rights it should all be yours.
Except for one thing. See, we don't have to stay in Grizzly Hill. You do. Still cost you another $1,000.
All right. But get it over with. Quick, no mistakes.
My boy will be here before morning.
You, on your feet. Take care of my horse, you.
Looks like you took care of him yourself. It's wondering how he can still stand.
Where do I find Evelyn Nemack? Now, where, I say?
Front Street, down from the hotel. You can't miss it.
Isabel.
No, don't say that. I didn't mean anything.
Against his father's wishes, my Arnie leaves the farm. Not yet 20 years old. I warned him. In the cities, I told him you will find women without souls. But he would not listen. And almost rather he was dead than married to such as you.
Don't say that. You don't understand.
I went by the graveyard. Nothing to show for 20 years but a wooden marker.
Stop it.
Where is he? This man who shot my Arnie. This Vint Bonner. Where is he?
He's not here. He's away someplace.
He will be back. When?
I don't know. Tomorrow, maybe the next day.
I can wait. To wait is all I have left.
What can I do for you?
I want the room.
$1 a day with breakfast. Sign here. I'll get your key.
is he?
What?
Mint Bonner. I want him. Is he here now in this hotel?
Well,
My name is Olaf Ledbetter. I come 200 miles to find the man who killed my son. You understand, mister?
Why didn't you say so in the first place? Bonner's in room 6, top of the stairs.
You stay where you are.
I wouldn't budge for anything in the world.
Not today, you won't. Sit up. Take from me first my son, then my strength. Why leave me anything at all? My life, take that too.
You're Arnie Ledbetter's father? I know what you're thinking, Mr. Ledbetter, but I didn't shoot your son.
You're Vint Bonner. I saw your name on the book.
Didn't he tell you downstairs?
He told me you were here, that is all.
I might have known. If you looked at the register, you'll notice when I signed in. Today. 5 days after your son was killed. I wasn't anywhere near Grizzly Hill when it happened.
But
You listen to me, Mr. Ledbetter. You knew who he wanted. You could have told him.
You had a gun on my side.
what's the good of all this talk? I know what to do.
You made a promise to me upstairs. We'd do it my way.
I, too, made a promise on my son's grave.
There's only one thing keeping you alive. That's a prejudice I have against shooting anyone in cold blood.
Well, gentlemen, he's here. He said to tell you that he'll be expecting you on the street, Mr. Bonner, in 5 minutes. If you're not there, he's coming after you.
I'll be there.
Your hand is hurt. You cannot fight. You wouldn't stand a chance. I go for the sheriff.
No.
Then I fight myself.
No, you stay here. Your chance may come soon enough.
You're left-handed?
No. But there's still one advantage in my favor.
What's that?
He took my name in the first place because he figured the reputation that went with it would throw a scare into the other fella. Give him an edge. Now he's on the other end. He's up against the man whose name he took. There's a difference. I know. Cowboy already told me the news.
Well, anyway, you don't have to worry about the sheriff busting things up. I sent him out to loose gamblers, chasing rustlers. What's the matter with your gun hand?
Nothing. You better get off the street, old fellow. Things are going to get rough around here.
better start praying Bonner gets himself killed. If he don't, you're the next one he'll come gunning for.
You heard what he said. He wouldn't kill in cold blood.
You think his blood stays cold? You ever see a man's face after a gunfight? After he's had to kill?
I don't own a gun.
You think that makes any difference?
Over there.
You figure this is the way to come by our reputation honestly?
You called it.
It won't be as easy as Ledbetter.
School keeps getting harder every day.
You're young. It's a rough school to flunk out of.
Mister, long as I'm wearing this, I don't have to worry about no diploma. Bonner! Look out!
Could have just as easily called myself Johnny Ringo.
Satisfied?
I thought it would help. It doesn't. He's just a boy himself.
I'm just leaving, Sheriff.
Had him saddled up an hour ago.
You had a lot of faith in me.
I still do. No charge.
Fletcherville wasn't any gay Paris or anything, but coming off the range, it was buildings and people. Things I'd begun to miss. It was other things, too. Wanted. Dead or alive, Billy Sparks, for murder and mayhem. Well, guess that came along with the town, along with buildings and people.
Get out of here!
Tough, aren't you? Pushing a woman around, that takes some real men.
You're not wanted around this town, Mrs. Sparks. It's time you understood that.
Not me. I'm sorry, Mrs. Sparks, but you stay away. All you bring is trouble. Your own Paul won't lift a hand to help you. I can't help you no more, Mrs. Sparks. I can't help you no more either. You're big, brave men, when all you have to fight are women and boys.
Helen Bricker. You do remember me, don't you?
Vin Bonner.
That's right.
Thanks for speaking to me, Vin.
Thanks for speaking. As bad as all that?
You just saw. Good citizens of Fletcherville don't waste words on Billy Sparks' wife. They won't like the idea of you talking to me either.
You don't think I'd let that bother me, do you?
Maybe it should. You just saw what they did to poor Tommy.
Where are you living now?
Cabin out at the end of town. Was the one my father built when I was a girl, remember?
By the way, how is Strad?
That was him you just saw right off on the horse. It's the first time I've seen him myself since I came back to Fletcherville. He sent word that I could use the cabin. No one was living there anyway. But I wasn't to come near his home or see him for as long as I live. Get up.
Vin Bonner, aren't you?
That's right.
You a friend of Helen's?
I know the Bricker family.
You know Billy Sparks?
I've heard of him. You'd be Dave Fletcher's son.
I was. Before Billy Sparks killed him. Any news yet?
Not yet, Mr. Fletcher. Jim, what's going on?
Come on inside, man.
Dave Fletcher built this town, Vent. Ain't a man, woman, or child in Fletcherville who isn't beholden to him. Billy Sparks shot him down in cold blood.
That explains the poster.
That was over a year ago. Billy held up his bank, that's when it happened. Well, they just caught him a couple of months ago in Junction City. That's where Sheriff Ritter is.
When's the hanging supposed to take place?
This week sometime. The date ain't certain yet. See if you got any mail. No mail, Vince, sorry.
I didn't really expect any. Helen Bricker. I hardly recognized her. And I didn't know her father.
Well, Strad ain't never really been the same. Not since she married Billy. Strad disowned her. That's all there is left of the Brickers, just a father and a daughter. Not one word spoken between them in 7 years.
That's too bad. Well, I'm going to be in town a couple of days. I'll drop by later for my mail.
Now, you be careful, Vent. If I was you, I wouldn't have nothing to do with her. Everyone in this town is dead set against her.
Fletcherville's her home. I guess she's got a right to come back to it.
Fellow that put this heel on just didn't know his trade. Ain't no reason for a nail to go through on the inside there if the heel was put on proper. Who made these boots for you anyway, Vin?
Let me see. Come to think about it, I think you did.
Me? You dang well know I didn't. I know my own work. I never turned out a pair of boots like that even when I was apprenticed.
Oh, we can soon find out. Look on the inside of the heel. I think your mark's there. But,
Well, how'd that ever get inside there?
Just got the word, Seth. Looks like they're not going to wait very much longer. They're going to string him up today.
Today?
Yeah. What's the matter? You don't look too happy.
What time today?
Sundown. The sheriff's staying over to claim the body for the next of kin. You know who that means. We're meeting out at Joel Fletcher's half hour before sundown.
Why?
You know why. Same time the state's getting rid of one of the Sparks, we'll be getting rid of the other.
how do you plan to do that?
Huh?
How are you going to get rid of the other Sparks?
We figure on letting Joel Fletcher handle that. It's his right. Was his paw Billy Sparks killed?
Seems to me this town's got a good case of lynch fever.
Seems like it's the town's business. None of yours, mister.
Don't get your quills up, Vint. There's just some things you can't do nothing about.
There's some things that need doing something about.
You don't understand, Vint. You're a rolling stone. Me, I'm in business in Fletcherville. So is Jim Pincher. The whole town is Fletcher built and run. I do like Joel tells me and I get along. People ain't going to forget Dave Fletcher. Even Strad Bricker won't lift a hand for his daughter.
Seems to me I remember once that Joel and Helen Bricker were going to be married.
Yes, that was a long time ago. Two families had it kind of figured that way. Broke her paw's heart she didn't marry Joel. Dave Fletcher saved Strad's ranch once, and he stood the game before closing, too. Billy Sparks isn't worth a hair of Dave Fletcher.
Well, I'll be back to those boots later.
Vint, we all know you. It ain't a matter of you fighting for Helen. It's who you're fighting against. It's more than Joel. More than just one man. It's a whole town.
Seth, you stick to your last, and I'll stick to mine.
Suppose you heard the news, Bonner. They're hanging Billy Sparks this afternoon.
I heard something else I didn't like the sound of.
Suppose you just mind your own business.
I should think a whole town against one woman would be anybody's business.
You're not foolish enough to think there's anything you can do about it.
I don't know. But I might be foolish enough to try. You like to play with that thing, don't you?
I know how to use it, too. You might remember that.
I'll remember.
That's good. And while you're remembering, there's just one other thing. Stay away from Helen Bricker.
Here's something for you, too. I don't do business in this town. That's one advantage of being a rolling stone. Helen, you're still young. You could go someplace else, start all over again. You've got your whole life ahead of you. Bitterness and false pride do terrible things to a person.
I'm Strad Bricker's daughter. I can fight just as hard and last as long as he can.
Fight what? And for what? And in the end, what do you gain?
What do I gain? The knowledge that I'm just as strong or stronger than they are.
Oh, you'll have that all right. You'll have that. And then you'll have the battle scars to go with it. All of a sudden you'll be old and lonely, like your father. There's only one thing sadder than a lonely old man.
Then I know what you're trying to do. When I'm ready to change my mind, I'll change it. This is my home. I was born here, and I'm going to stay.
All right. Helen. I didn't want to tell you this. They're hanging your husband today at sundown. And at the same time they're hanging him, your neighbors are planning something for you. I don't know what. I rode out to see Stradbreaker. I didn't know what to expect or just what I would say to him. Maybe Joel Fletcher was right. Maybe I was being a little foolish. But I didn't like him saying it. Live in the same town and don't see each other?
Vint, if you've come here to try to fix things up between us, you're wasting your time.
Well, I know it's none of my business.
I told her he was no good before she married him. I told her, but she knew more than everybody else. She wouldn't listen to me.
I guess it's pretty hard to see a person's faults when you're in love with them.
It had to take a lot to love Billy Sparks. Gun-happy fool. I was on the posse that went after him when he killed Fletcher. I went after my own son-in-law. Every man worth his salt in this town was on that posse. They don't come any better than Dave Fletcher. I owe everything I've got to him.
More than you owe your own daughter?
I haven't got a daughter. I'm not concerned with her anymore.
Yes, you are. You and the whole town are concerned. You're judging her and blaming her for something her husband did.
She doesn't have to stay here.
Oh, I didn't hear her complain. I don't think in all the time I've known the Bricker family I've heard anyone complain.
She's not a Bricker. She's Mrs. Billy Sparks, a murderer's wife. I'd sooner see her horsewhipped than have her called a Bricker.
I think maybe somebody has the idea to do just that.
What?
Joel Fletcher seems kind of handy with that whip he carries.
It's none of my business what he does.
Oh, I don't know. I've known you for a long time, Strad. I don't think you'd feel very good about it if any harm came to Helen.
Harm?
I hear some of the citizens are going to pay a visit to Helen at sundown. At the same time, they're hanging Billy in Junction City.
It's a lot of talk. Joel's excitable. He doesn't mean any harm. Besides, the sheriff would stop it.
The sheriff will be in Junction City till after the hanging.
What does she expect? Maybe it'll be all for the best. She doesn't belong in Fletcherville. This isn't her home, not anymore. Besides, if she needed anything, all she ever had to do was to come to me and ask.
You know she wouldn't do that. She's your own daughter.
Then why doesn't she say she's wrong? Why doesn't she come to me and say she's sorry? If she'd ask forgiveness, maybe I'd care what happens to her. Don't you see that, Vint? Then maybe I'd care.
Yeah. Yeah, I see.
Look, I know you're trying to be a friend, but no matter what anybody says or tries to do, I'm not leaving Fletcherville.
You are just as stubborn as your father. Aren't you going to ask me how he is?
I know how he is. He showed me this morning. He showed me plain.
think I know you well enough to ask a question. Maybe you didn't know what Billy was like when you married him. But why did you stick with him after he killed Fletcher?
Well, I took vows, Vint.
And he gave you plenty of grounds to break them.
I'm my father's daughter. If I make a bargain or give my word good or bad, I'll stick to it. The sun's going down, Vint.
I understand you could have married Joel Fletcher.
Joel Fletcher? Did you get a good look at him this morning? You think he's any better than Billy? Besides, I wasn't going to be pushed into marriage because my father was beholden to his father.
With Sheriff Ritter away, there's no lawman to protect you, Helen.
Oh, I'm capable of protecting myself. Thanks, Vint. I'll be all right. I have this, and I know how to use it.
Helen.
I'll kill the first person who comes near this cabin. I mean it, Vint. I'm Billy Sparks' wife. A killer's wife, remember?
There's just a chance this town may forget. But if there's any gunplay here today, they never will.
I don't care if they do or don't. I married Billy. Nobody forced me to. I don't expect any favors now.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't think you're going to get any.
I told you to leave before they got here.
Give me that gun. You can get out the back way. I'll stall them.
I never thought I'd hear Vint Bonner tell anyone to run from a fight.
You never saw me walk right into one either. That's a mob out there. Do you know what a mob is? You think it's just a bunch of people? Well, it's not. It's the lowest form of animal.
Well, where do I run, Mr. Bonner? And when do I stop?
Mrs. Sparks? Mrs. Sparks, you here? We're giving you 2 minutes to come out.
I'll give you less than that to get off my property.
Now you stay here.
I don't want you taking my part, Vint.
Those fools out there I'm worried about.
We're coming in.
Staying out.
Get out of the way. This doesn't concern you.
Fletcher, I've seen men stoop pretty low. But what you're leading these men to do makes you kind of special.
This is none of your business, Bonner. I told you that. As for what we're planning, all we're going to do is give Mrs. Sparks a taste of the whip. Enough so she won't show her face in Fletcherville again.
Are you sure that's the reason? Or is it because her name is Mrs. Sparks and not Mrs. Fletcher?
You don't seriously believe that's why we're here?
Don't I? You wouldn't be the first man to lead people into doing things for one reason when the real reason was a hidden one of your own.
You're talking wild, Bonner. Now get out of our way. We're going to let one man tell us what we can do and what we can't do. This is our town, isn't it? Yes. Billy Sparks is dancing on air right now. I say let's get rid of the rest of his rotten family.
Stop! All of you, listen to me. I'll leave your town. Before I go, there's something you ought to know. You said Billy Sparks was dancing on air. You ever think what that must mean to me? All of you. Did you ever think what it was like for me? I had to live with him for 7 years. All right, go ahead. You think you're the only one who knows how to use a whip? Billy Sparks knew how to.
Can you forgive me, Helen? I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Listen to me. Listen to me, all of you. Just because...
Your father was a good man. Everyone here has cause to know that. But you aren't him or anything like him. If he were here to see this day's work, he'd be ashamed, as I am right now. He'd be ashamed. This town bears his name.
I don't think you're going to get a chance to use that today.
This is all your fault, Bonner. If it hadn't been for you.
You wouldn't have lasted long anyway. People have a habit of finding out tin gods sooner or later.
You're a big man with a gun in your hand.
I'll throw away my gun if you'll do the same with that whip.
When the land around Clay City was known as gold country, with thick, rich veins of the yellow stuff in the surrounding hills. Now all the gold was long since gone, except for that which remained in men's dreams. I thought I heard a cry, long ways off. Could have been an animal. Then it could have been something else.
We ain't got time for any more of that.
Can you think of a better way to make him talk?
Yeah. One sure way. Now listen to me, old man, because I'm only going to ask you this one more time. You can still hear, can't you?
I can still hear.
That's good. Because maybe now you can stay alive. Now for the last time, where'd you find that gold?
You'll have to kill me first.
Any way you like it, old man.
Bonner.
Drop the gun, easy. The next one goes right between your eyes. You're Hiram Grover, aren't you?
That's me.
What are they trying to do, kill you?
Take
More than the likes of them to hurt an old desert rattler.
Now let him go. All right, what are you waiting for? Go ahead, shoot. Don't do it, Len. Now you drop that gun or I'll break this man's arm. Do as he says, Len. Or do you want to kill your old brother? He calls your brother. That's the only thing that's keeping you alive. I'll make you a deal, mister. Name it. Let him go. I won't use this. Otherwise, I'll kill you both. Drop the gun first. Do it, Len! Give you a hand, Hiram?
I don't need no help.
They sure worked you over.
Why? Why? They're after the gold. Want to steal my claim.
Gold claim? What are you talking about?
Here. Loaded with the yellow stuff. I'll show you. The best ore I've seen in 40 years of looking. Yes, sir. Ore that'll make a man's eyes pop right out of his head.
You mean rock, don't you, Hiram?
No, I don't mean no such darn thing. I mean ore.
Now, look, old-timer, everybody knows that these hills were cleaned out over 20 years...
No, wait a minute. That ain't so. It ain't played out. It's just harder to find.
Well, maybe you found something, but you sure...
Gold? I say it's gold. If this here yellow stuff I've got here don't assay out over $1,000, I'll eat mule steak on Sunday.
$1,000?
Yes, and that ain't all. I'll just bet that this vein I found will deliver more gold in 1 year than all they ever took out of California.
All right, Hiram.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
If anybody deserves getting a strike, you do. You've been looking longer than anybody I know.
Yeah. 45 years, Bent. Yeah. 45 years come winter. I told them people in Clay City that there was still gold in them there mountains. I could smell it. Would they believe me? No. They said old Hiram was touched. That his brains was rattling from too much sun. Well, they'll start braying a different song now. Fools. You think that I don't know gold when I see it?
Well, anyone can make a mistake, even an old-timer.
It ain't no mistake, you young fool. This is the real thing.
All right, Hiram.
All right.
You need any help getting to Clay City?
No, I know more shortcuts than you do. I'll be into town before you're into bed. Yes, and you can tell them people in Clay City that Hiram Grover struck it rich.
I'll tell them.
And see what they say about that.
I'll tell them.
Yeah, you just tell them.
Even if I'd felt like telling anyone, I knew no one would believe it. Not any more than I believed it myself. Anyway, the sun was going down when I got to Clay City. It was coming on Saturday night, but after roundup time at the Circle G, all I was thinking about was a feed for Scar and myself and 10 good hours of sleep between clean, cool sheets.
Who is it?
Hiram Grover, I gotta talk to you. It's important.
Oh, Come on in, Hiram.
Vint, if the whole world isn't chock full of sidewinders, horn-toads, and rattlesnakes.
No, wait. Just a minute. What's the matter?
Oh, Enos Wilson is what's the matter?
You mean that man that runs the assay office?
Yeah, he couldn't tell a gold nugget from a tea kettle.
Well, what you mean? He told you that the stuff you brought in isn't any good, is that it?
No, that's the trouble. He didn't say nothing one way or the other.
Well, then, what are you ranting around about?
You see, by the time I got the burros back into town, it was most 7 o'clock, and Enoch was closing up the assay office.
And it's a very good time for closing. And speaking of closing, Hiram...
I left them 3 sacks of gold with him and told him I wanted to report as soon as possible, and you know what he told me? Said I couldn't get a report till Monday.
Well, isn't that natural, tomorrow being Sunday?
Yeah, that's the same excuse he tried to hand me, the lying skunk.
Hiram, in case you don't know it, Sunday has a habit of coming after Saturday.
Vint, would you listen to me?
Hiram, everybody's been listening to you for years. All the times you've claimed to have struck it rich. If once, just once, you weren't convinced that this was it.
But, Vint, this is it.
Oh, Hiram, not again. Not again.
No, it's gold. It's gold, I tell you, Vint.
Hiram, all right. If it's gold, couldn't you wait till Monday?
I can wait. I've waited for 40 years. But what I don't like is a pack of lies being told.
By the little fella at the assay.
Yeah. I left my gold with him. Had no choice. Got me a bowl of beef stew at O'Brien's, and then I come back to see about the burros. I peeked in the window, and there was Enoch sitting at the counter testing my 3 sacks of gold.
All right, so he was testing your gold. That doesn't prove anything.
Oh, don't you see, Vint? He's fixing to take my gold for himself. As soon as he finds out how valuable it is, he'll do some substituting, and I'll wind up with 3 sacks of plain rock when I come in to see him on Monday.
Look, if you're so upset about this, why don't you go to him? Ask him straight out. He's probably got a simple enough explanation.
Well, I'm going to, and that's why I want you to go along.
Go along?
Vint, I need help. I ain't as young as I used to be, and you know what this strike means to me. Now, you don't want to see somebody swindle me out of it, do you?
No, Hiram.
Well, all right. Come on, we ain't got all night.
Well, give me a chance to get on some clothes.
Howdy, Enoch.
There they are. Them's my sacks.
Well, surely your sacks, Hiram.
You see, he ain't even denying it.
You've gone out of your mind, or...
I'll ask the questions, and you'll do the answering from now on, Enoch. And you better not lie in front of Vint Bonner here, either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought you said that you couldn't assay this ore until Monday.
Well, what if I did?
Well, it appears like you sort of changed your mind on it.
Vint, would you know what's the matter with him?
Well, yes, I've got a fair idea.
There ain't nothing the matter with me. I can still take care of any skunk that tries to cheat me out of my gold.
What? Who you calling a skunk?
You. And if you ask me, it sure fits.
Why, you dried up little skunk!
Come on,
I can know you were... Now, wait a minute!
Before one of you old fighting cocks throws your back out of place.
He can't talk to me that way.
I'll talk to you any way I like.
No, you can't, Hiram. Not unless you can prove what you're talking about.
Proof? Why, if I was trying to cheat him, would I have sent word for him to come by and pick up his assay report tomorrow morning?
You sent word?
Ask Mike O'Brien, you old horsehead. Went by the cafe myself looking for you. You'd already left. So I told him if he saw you to give you the message.
You told Mike?
Well, Hiram?
Well, doggone it, Vint, how was I to know?
Well, Enoch, I guess he's sorry.
Oh.
What did change your mind? Why did you decide to make your essay tonight instead of Monday?
He's been bringing me samples to assay for more years than I can remember. Usually it's low-grade stuff, too thin with weight and hardness to even bother about. A little better than fool's gold. But this time, he seemed more anxious than usual. And then, too, this is definitely more promising. So I figured I'd just get right at it instead of waiting until Monday morning. Enoch. What do you want, you old fool? Enoch. What is it? Is it gold, Enoch? Is it gold?
You think he might have stumbled onto something?
I can't say positively yet. I still got to make a couple of tests. But it looks like maybe it's gold. Gold? I found it! I found gold! Yippee! I found gold! Yippee! I found gold! I found it!
Evening, gentlemen. Who are you? Never mind. Grab some air. All three of you.
Now, see here,
You too, old man. I guess you didn't expect to see us again. I just start reaching. I guess this time there'll be no problem killing you. You run this place?
Well, I do the assaying.
Then open the safe.
Well, there really ain't nothing.
Never mind, Stolen. Get it open.
It was real nice, lugging this in for us.
You leave that alone, you hear?
Take it easy, Grandpop. Feels real heavy.
That all belongs to me. You got no right to it.
I guess you just don't hear good. I said take it easy.
I spent most of my life looking for that gold, and I... You leave it!
Hiram, let me see.
You saved my gold bit.
You better get him to a doctor, quick.
Doc Nibble's house is in the next block.
We'll take him there. Grab hold. How is it, Doctor?
Well, it's too early to tell anything yet. I got the bullet out, but he still isn't out of the woods.
See what you mean.
For a man his age to lose all that blood, it's a very serious thing.
Sure.
I understand you got the thieves, both of them.
You sure did, Doc. What are his chances, do you think, Doctor?
He's an old man. I've seen fellows a whole lot younger than...
Yeah.
Say, you better get yourself some rest.
Well, I thought maybe we could,
Nothing you can do here. Not a chance of him coming to before morning.
Come on, Van. Doc will take care of him. All right, I'll see you in the morning, Doctor. I guess I didn't know how tired a man could get. Anyway, I slept till after 10 the next morning. Or maybe it was because I just didn't like the thought of going to Doc's to find out how Hiram was. I started to head for Doc's anyway. Then I passed the assay office, and though it was Sunday, I saw Enoch in there.
Howdy, Vin.
Morning, Enoch. Well, I see you got the place all straightened up.
Oh, yeah, Sheriff Jay and his deputy took care of that. I was, I just came back from seeing Hiram.
Oh. Is he?
No, but sure don't look good.
It's kind of sad. Just when he seems to have found what he's been looking for all his life.
You know, I couldn't sleep last night after all that fracas, and so I came back here and I finished up all the work on Hiram's samples.
This it?
Yeah.
Looks real rich.
Oh, it's the real thing, all right, no doubt about it.
So the old goat was right.
If there's any more ore as rich as this in those mountains, we'll have a full-scale gold rush right here in Clay City.
Well, Hiram ought to know about it.
Oh, he knows it.
He does?
Well, I told you that I couldn't sleep. So after I finished up the assay early this morning, I went right back over to Doc's.
Well, I thought that Hiram would want to know before...
That was mighty thoughtful of you, Enoch.
It wasn't nothing. I just couldn't sleep, that's all. Oh, Doc says he's got a good, strong constitution for a man of his age. Why, he just hasn't got any fight left in him. You know, Vent, he just doesn't care whether he lives or dies.
Well, you had a hard night, Enoch. You probably all took it out, too.
Oh, no, Vent. You see, Doc couldn't understand it either. He thought if there was anything that would make Hiram want to live, it would be knowing he'd struck it rich.
Well, you'd think so, after he spent most of his life grubbing around those mountains.
Well, the only way we can explain it is that Hiram just don't believe me. Maybe he thinks I'm lying to him because he's so bad off.
Well, he did say he never got an honest assay.
So we thought, the Doc and me, we thought that maybe if he heard it from you.
Yeah, maybe you're right. You know, Enoch, if I ever need a Philadelphia lawyer, I'm going to call on you. Well, Hiram, how's it going?
Fair, Vint, fair, considering.
Well, the doctor says you're going to be real well real soon.
Yeah, he told me.
But you know, doctor can't do it all by himself. You've got to give him some help.
It don't matter. Don't matter at all.
Now, what are you talking about? I figured you'd be jumping up and down in bed, just raring to get going as soon as you heard the news.
You mean about the gold?
Yeah, Enoch here says he told you. Biggest strike ever made around Clay City.
Yeah, he told me.
You believe him, don't you?
Yeah, I believe him. I knew it was real stuff first time I found it. Maybe that was the sign.
The sign?
Yeah, Vint. My life's over. 45 years I looked for that yellow stuff. And now that I've found it, it don't leave no reason to keep on looking. No reason at all. Oh, after all those years, I'm tired, Vint. Awful tired.
But Hiram, you're going to be a rich man, a very rich man.
Oh, you think that's why I was hunting for gold? Because it'd make me rich? Well, when I was younger, maybe that was a reason. But lately, in the last few years, I wanted to prove it to folks that I knew what I was talking about, that Hiram Grover wasn't touched in the head like they said.
But Hiram, you know better than to believe anything that people say about you.
So, it won't be so hard to die. It won't be hard at all. I got done what I set out to do. I guess maybe I'm luckier than most men get to be.
Well, that's one way to look at it.
It just goes to show, Vint, that things turn out for the best.
Yeah, sure. Well, I guess Enoch here did the right thing.
What's that?
Oh, nothing. You get some rest.
Now, just a minute, Vint Bonner. What'd you start to tell me about Enoch Wilson doing something? Now, finish it up, what you're going to tell me. Go on.
Hiram, I don't want to get you upset, so you just get some rest.
Great jumping Jehoshaphat. Don't you worry none about me getting upset. I can take care of myself. Now, what was it you're going to tell me?
Well, Hiram, you were so weak and so feeble, you can hardly blame Enoch here for feeling sorry for you.
Feeling sorry for me? Enoch Wilson feeling sorry for me?
Well, anyway, I guess that's the reason he felt he had to tell you that...
You don't mean he was lying to me, That ore that I brought in wasn't full of gold?
No, I didn't say that.
Great balls of fire. Why, you low-down skunk. Of all the low-down double-crossing...
You're a sick man, and you better get...
Sick man, am I? I'll show you how sick I am. So, it wasn't true, huh, about my strike?
Now, Hiram, a man in your condition...
My condition, Oh, they thought I was going to die. And then they were all going to have a laugh on me, huh? Well, I just ain't going to be that obliging. No, sir. I'm going to get well if it kills me. I'll do it in spite of people and tell me about these things. And I'll find gold. Yes, sir, I'll go out and find it in them there mountains where I said I'd find it. Yes. You're going to soft-soap me into kicking the bucket.
Hey, Doc, come here.
Oh!
Looks like your patient made a miraculous recovery.
You just tell them, Bint, that if they're thinking anything like that, they'd better start thinking... Oh, drat it. They'd better start thinking different.
Well, sir, by the time Hiram got well and found out he was responsible for a genuine gold rush, there just wasn't much he could do about it. Then the way the money poured in, faster than Hiram could spend it, no matter how hard he tried. Sure went in for some fly-by-night schemes, though. Like organizing a prospecting expedition to go to Alaska, someplace called the Klondike. Now, who'd ever find gold in a place like that?
Mr. Bonner, why did you just shoot him in the hand?
Well, the gun's not only for killing, Robbie. The gun's kind of a tool.
A tool?
Sure. Just like a hoe or an axe. Say, did I ever tell you about my grandfather?
Nope.
Well, his name was Jebediah Bonner. People mostly call him Jeb. He was a marshal and a good one. Good enough to stay alive and retire. I was a boy about your age. My ma and pa had been killed before I remembered, and Grandpa Jeb had seen to it that I was raised with Doc Ludlow and his wife. Grandpa Jeb was coming home that day. That's all I'd been able to think about for weeks. It's good to see you, boy.
I'm glad to see you too, Grandpa. I've missed you terrible.
You have. Well, let's take a look at you. My, you must have grown half a foot since I saw you last.
Martha, why don't you take the boy along home? I'll take Jeb in here and buy him a beer. He must be pretty dry and dusty after 2 days on that stage.
Now that sounds like a fine idea.
I've learned to write real good, Grandpa, and I can do sums, and I can ride a horse,
And you can do just about everything, can't you? Well, you go along home with your Aunt Martha, and I'll be along directly. We've got a lot of time to talk about all the things you can do.
Jeb, suppose we just take that prescription I mentioned a moment ago. Two beers. This will be the first of a million of them, Jeb. You've earned every one of them.
You're Jeb Bonner, aren't you?
I know you, young feller.
No, you never laid eyes on me, but I know all about you. I hear they retired you, Bonner.
You know, that's something. I mean, all the towns you tamed, and you still alive to retire. Now, you must be pretty good.
Good at what?
Well, I've heard you shot it out with quite a few. Some pretty good men, the way I hear. Bad ones, but some pretty good men.
Line between a good man and a bad man's mighty fine. And the older you get, the smaller it gets.
I'll buy you a drink.
No, thank you. One's enough for me in the heat of the day.
Oh, come on now. One more ain't gonna hurt an old retired hero like you. Come on, Doc. Introduce us.
Your mouth's big enough. Introduce yourself.
I'm Jim Kenyon. Does that name sound familiar to you, Bonner? This is my brother Bob.
Kenyon. I remember a Kenyon about 20 years ago. Up in Indian country.
That was my pa. I don't believe you give him a good chance for a fair fight, Bonner.
Well, whether you believe it or not, son, isn't too important. When a man's 20 years dead, it's high time people forgot about him and went on living.
Don't you get preachy with me.
What is it you want, son? A fight? I'm past that.
But you go mind your business, Jim. You should teach him to mind his mouth.
I've tried to, Doc. He's voting age.
You planning on staying in Canyon City?
I thought I would. Now, you ain't gonna tell me the town isn't big enough for the both of us, are you?
Well, you ain't gonna like it here. I mean, I just know you ain't gonna like it here.
I'm sorry, Jeb. I didn't think he'd shoot his mouth off like that.
Every man shoots his mouth off one time or another. Let's get on home. I want to see that boy of mine. Jim Kenyon didn't leave it there. Guess he wanted the town to know how he felt because he horsed Grandpa and Doc off the sidewalk on the way home.
Grandpa, could you really outdraw John Wesley?
Well, there was a time. There was a time.
Then why didn't you hit that Jim Kenyon?
How did you hear about that boy? Only happened half hour ago.
Billy Haskell told me. His pa seen it. You just stood there and let them walk all over you.
What would you have done, Vint?
Gee, I don't know. Something.
Yes, I suppose I should have done something.
Then why didn't you?
Vint, if you were a real fast runner and been running real hard for 20 years, how do you suppose you'd feel?
Tired, I guess.
Well, that's me. I'm tired. See that hand? It's got a line in it for every year I've lived. And the fingers that used to be quick and limber, well, they're stiff. And the joints ache when the weather's fixing to change. I've learned a lot of things, but what good's all a man's learning if his body won't do what his head tells it to? Now, do you think I could outdraw that Jim Kenyon?
No, sir. I guess you couldn't do anything else but take it.
Let the boy alone. He has to be alone now.
Yes, I suppose so. But it's always so hard to lose a dream.
Excuse me, Mom. I think I'll take a little walk. understand what I was talking about in there, son?
I guess so. You're not young anymore.
No, son, I'm not young anymore.
But, Grandpa, isn't there something anyone can do, even if you're not young?
Well, now, Vince, you just might have a point there. Just might. You stay right here. I'll be back.
You'd be Marshal Bonner, right?
Just plain Mr. Bonner now.
Well, Mr. Marshal, it's a pleasure to meet you, sir. Sit down.
Thank you.
I'm sure I know why you're here, right? It's the Kenyons. Oh, I know them well. I've had Jim in jail more times than one for stirring up trouble. Jim thinks he's pretty good with a handgun.
Well, how about his brother Bob?
Bob? Oh, I'd say there's still some hope for him if Jim would stop pushing him. Mr. Bonner, I don't like to say this, but you made a pretty poor showing out there today. Now, as a famous lawman, you know that if you give a man an inch, he's going to take a mile, and he's going to walk on you every foot of the way, right?
For sure, I see.
Yes, but what are you going to do about it?
Well, what do you expect me to do about it? Put on a gun and brace the Kenyons in front of the whole town?
Oh, no, Mr. Bonner, that isn't what I had in mind.
Well, maybe I better do something to protect my reputation. Right? Right.
Yes, sir.
Grandpa told me later it wasn't too much for a feller who'd spent half his life rousting drunks out of bars. Just a trick he used on the youngster when he wasn't expecting it. Morning, Sheriff.
Mr. Bonner, I heard about what happened last night. I can't say that I exactly approve.
When I was by your office last night, you said something about my making a poor showing. Now you don't seem to approve of my making any showing at all.
I'm the sheriff of this town, and I intend to keep the peace.
That's a fine idea.
Even if some old has-been of a... Just let me say, I don't want anything to stop me.
Well, I always did approve of law and order.
Let you and I go out to the Kenyons and see if we can settle this matter amicably before it develops into something far more serious. Right?
All right.
Come on. I'll get my hat.
We've gone further than we should with this, Jim. Now you take it easy.
Gentlemen, I think we'd better have a little talk.
Well, what do you want to talk about?
Sheriff, I can speak for myself.
Mr. Bonner, I'll handle this. I'm also an able lawman. I'm not going to mince words with anyone. Neither am I going to take sides.
Oh, look, Sheriff. Why don't you stick to rousting drunks? You're going to get into something that won't rub off.
I should lock you up.
And why don't you step off that horse and try it?
I've had about enough of this, Jim. Now you pull in your horns while there's still time.
And you shut up, Bob. Come on, Sheriff. Come on, lock me up. And you're man enough to do it without that gun, ain't you?
Yes, I think so.
Oh, my back! My back! Oh, my back! My back! My back! Now, quit crying. Come on, you windbag. Get up! Get up!
He could be hurt bad.
Haven't you had enough trouble? It's always you. You with your gun-toting and your brawling and your hate.
Oh, shut up.
Don't just stand there. Help me.
Look, Bob, she might be your girl, but don't let her talk to me like that.
Look, somebody's got to set you straight. You're no good, Jim.
Look, I told you to shut up.
Now, you just stop right there, Jim. Now, you just move back there and stay like you are. Sheriff, appears to me like you're going to be laid up for a while. You're going to need yourself a deputy. I'd be right honored if you'd make it me. Much obliged. Bob, I'll send a buckboard back for him from town. You're just as big a fool as your daddy was.
I'm gonna kill you, old man. I'm gonna kill you.
You so mixed up, you gotta kill me to straighten yourself out?
Anytime, anywhere. Now, you let me get my gun, I'll settle it right now. I don't care how fast you were. Or are.
I like witnesses when I gun a man down. Now, if you got the guts, I'll meet you in town this afternoon at 4 o'clock, where everybody can see.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bonner.
Sit down, Bess. You love Bob, don't you?
Yes.
Then you were right in doing what you did. People do a lot of things wrong, but the love in them makes it come out all right.
Oh, but Jim will kill you, Mr. Bonner. You're...
Old. Yep, I'm old. Well, Bess, there's some things you can do, even if you are old. Let's just wait and see.
How did you know that about love?
Well, girl, you have to be young before you're old.
Did you have a girl then?
I had me a wife named Elizabeth. She had eyes the color of a pond right after a quick freeze. She died a year after we were married. Gave me a boy named John. He and his wife were killed at the massacre of Little Creek 5 years ago come next June. And they left me bent.
You must have really loved her to remember her like that.
Loved her? That's a pretty feeble word to express an emotion as big as the sky. Grandpa said that even good friends sometimes don't agree on things that are important. Doc Ludlow made his feelings pretty clear.
If you face Jim Kenyon, you'll be dead. He's fast. I've seen him.
I'm sorry, Ken, but it's 25 minutes to 4.
I'm sorry, too, Jeb. Sorry you ever came back to Canyon City.
Grandpa. I don't want you to get killed, Grandpa.
Now you listen to me, son, and you listen carefully. Things don't always turn out the way you plan them, and hardly ever the way you'd like them to be. But however they turn out, you've got to take them coming on. Now, you understand that?
I think so. I love you, Grandpa.
Well, I feel the same about you, boy. I surely do. Now, you stay right here. Understand? And I'll be back directly.
Something anyone can do, even if you're not young. I don't want you to get killed, Grandpa. No, sir. I guess you couldn't do anything else but take it. I love you, Grandpa.
You didn't let me get close. I could have beat you. I could have beat you.
Take care of him, Ken.
That was no lucky shot, Bonner. You could have put that bullet right between his eyes and no one would have blamed you.
I'd have blamed myself. Vint, today you saw your first gunfight.
Yes, sir.
Did you like it?
No, sir. I was scared. But you weren't scared, were you, Grandpa? You just stood there and let him shoot at you.
You know why I'm sitting down right now, son? 'Cause my legs don't want to hold me up. Someday you're going to grow up. And when you do, I want you to remember what you saw today. I want you to remember something else, too. Growing old ain't so bad. It's just well, it takes a mite of getting used to. That's what it does. During the spring months, I'd been working as foreman for Josiah Austin out on the Circle 8. We had a plow due in on the stage, so I was on my way to town.
Now, don't you keep Vin waiting around while you decide between Dimity and Calico.
I won't, Daddy.
Here's a little extra so you can buy both.
Thank you.
Now, you take good care of her, Vin.
I'll do that, sir.
There's Vince!
Gallagher, you lose your head? How come the free beer?
Election bet!
Look, when you got your things ready, I'll carry them for you. I'll be over there.
Drinking Gallagher's free beer?
No, waiting for the new plow.
Howdy, Vin. How do, Miss Celia?
Hello, Sheriff.
You sure picked the right day to come into town.
You managed to keep the peace?
Yep.
It's the hotel? Yeah. 4 bits a day, in advance.
Josie Collins live here?
Who'd you say?
Josie Collins. This where she lives?
Yeah. This is where she lives, all right.
She in?
Well, judging from the time she was having last night, I'd say she was all in.
Free beer. The boys are having a little fun.
Well, there can't be too many rooms in this place. I'll find her myself.
First room at the top of the stairs.
Josie don't send that fresh kid packing, I'll run her out of town. And if you let him buy booze for that gin-soaked old harridan, I'll run you out of town.
Josie, she'll pat him on the head and send him on his way. All right, Vint, how about that beer?
Later. I gotta pick up my plow.
All right, boys, you want any more?
It was lunchtime and past before Celia was through shopping, so I bought her a steak at the Cattleman's Rest next door.
That was a good lunch. Thanks.
I bet you they don't feed you that way back east.
I like it better here. This is where I belong.
Town hadn't had a robbery in a long time, so the young stranger, the one who had asked for Josie Collins, was naturally suspect. Celia and I, being witnesses, were asked to identify him.
Zach, I don't know why Celia has to be dragged into this.
Well, I'm sorry, Josiah, but we need every witness we can get. McCann says that Smith is the same height and build, all right, but that's as far as he'll go. Clint, I was counting a lot on you. You seen this kid close, too, when he got off the stage yesterday.
Yes, I did. But I wasn't close to when the robbery happened. I couldn't say it was Smith, not in good conscience.
Well, you saw how seedy he was dressed when he pulled into town yesterday. Well, last night when he showed up at Gallagher's, he had $1,000 on him.
Sheriff, this Smith, where does he say he was at the time of the holdup?
Claims he talked to Josie Collins for a while. And he went down the outside stairs and spent a couple hours walking.
Did Josie back him up in this?
Josie left town late yesterday. Went out on the return trip of the stage while we were out looking for Smith.
But Zach, the kid didn't have a horse, remember? He came in on the stage. The holdup man ran down the alley and jumped on his horse.
Yes. And who gave him a horse, Sheriff, and $700 more than the bandit got in the holdup?
And another thing. Would he pull a holdup and then run right into your arms?
This kid might. He's got more gall than a timber wolf. You think I held up the express office, he says. All right, prove it.
Well, he's right. I thought everyone was innocent until proven guilty.
Celia, you're here to identify this man, if you can. Not to argue with the sheriff. All right, Zach.
Come on.
Well, I'll say this for you, lawman. You sure try hard.
Miss Austin, I'd like to have you take a look at this prisoner. Tell me if he's the man you saw run out of the express office yesterday.
I can't say. Everything happened too fast.
You mean you won't say this is the man?
It isn't fair. If the answer has to be yes or no. No.
Well, looks like I'll have to turn him loose. Thanks anyway.
Zach will see to it he's out of town by sundown.
Why?
Why? Well, he's certainly not the type fellow we want around here.
Dad, what are you saying? You know nothing about him.
You heard him. Refused to tell where he got the money. Refused to state his reasons for coming here. The sooner he's out of town, the better. No room here for his kind.
If I was you, I'd be out of town before dark.
Sorry, Sheriff. I ain't hardly seen your town yet. Except Gallagher's saloon and your crummy jail. I think I'm gonna like it here. Saw one piece of scenery I thought was real pretty.
Now you look at here, Smith.
Never did care for that name, Sheriff. Back home they used to call me the Concho Kid. And that name I like. Now you take care now.
My land.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Austin.
Get out!
Johnny, wait!
Celia, go to your room. How did he get out here?
He rode out here. He invited me to take a ride with him, and I did. We had a fine time.
Celia, this isn't the kind of
You
fellow...
ordered me to my room. I'm going. Bent, will you see that my horse is taken care of, please?
The gall of him. No kid like that in my Celia. Well, the first question he asked when he got here was, where could he find Josie Collins?
Look, I don't hold any brief for any of this, but all I say is no one really knows anything about the boy.
I know all I need to know about him.
Yes, sir. Well, I guess you got yourself a problem. Hey, what's going on?
I just broke out of jail.
Oh, you've been out with Smith.
Look, I don't like to sneak out to see him, but Dad's left me no other choice.
Now, look, Celia, I can't help you disobey your father.
You gonna tell him?
Well, not this time, but I won't do this again.
You won't have to. Johnny's coming for me tomorrow night. He told me so. We're gonna go someplace where nobody knows us, and we're going to get married. Then Dad can either accept my husband or throw us both off of his land.
Oh, I see. How old is the Concho kid?
19.
Has he got a job?
Well, who'd give him a job around here?
Well, maybe he's got some of that 1,000 left. And a flashy horse and a flashy outfit.
He came by that money honestly.
How do you know?
Because he told me so, and I believe him.
All right, Celia, you can sneak off and get married if you want to and break your father's heart. Maybe your own, too. Or you can make an honest effort to bring your father around.
It won't do any good.
Look, honey, from where you sit, your father may be all wrong. But whatever he's doing out of love for you. You say you believe in Johnny Smith. How about having some faith in your dad?
All right. I'll tell Johnny we have to wait. I do love you, but I love my father, too. What Vent says is true, Johnny. We're both young. We can afford to wait a little if it means marrying with Dad's blessing.
You want to please your old man. Why don't you marry Bonner?
I love you, Johnny.
They'll take you away from me. You'll see. Your father never changed. But you will.
No, I won't.
Yes, you will. You changed already. Bonner gives you a sermon and all the things you said to me last night. Gone.
Oh, it's not gone. It's you who haven't any faith. Just give me a little time. Let me try to convince Dad.
Celia, look, I've been kicking the teeth too often to believe that anything good's coming my way. Oh, sure, I used to think that if I had a few bucks in my pocket, get the outfit like this, flying horse, I'd be king. Have everything I'd ever wanted.
No, Johnny, that's not enough. Not for you.
Celia, if a girl like you was to believe in me, I mean, if being my wife was all in all to you, above Bonner, above your father even, well, don't you see, sweetheart? That'd be kind of a sign to me that, well, Celia, I'm asking an awful lot of you. But marry me, right now, like you promised last night.
I want to, Johnny, but I can't. It just wouldn't be right.
Okay. I'm through begging you.
The spring horse races were about the most important occasion in the whole valley.
There he is. You'll have to admit he's handsome.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll admit it, too.
Now there, that's what I mean. Everybody's dead set against him.
On your marks, get set.
You know why I won so easy? My little sweetheart here was cheering for me.
Johnny, I want to talk to you.
Oh, I think it can be arranged.
You know, if I was Josiah Austin, I'd spank that girl and horsewhip that loafer.
Well, I'm not much good at giving advice to Lovelock either. If that's the way you feel, I'm glad you're not her father.
Think your Ned can beat Flash?
He might.
How much you think so? Enough to bet on him?
Too much to bet on him. Come on, Celia.
Scared?
Johnny.
Stay out of this, Celia. I say you're Mr. Bonner's scared.
I don't like to see a man with a horse he's proud of eat dust. But a loudmouth kid, that's another thing.
Get set.
A lot of horse. What do you want for him?
This car's not for sale.
500.
I said he's not for sale.
You wish you took that 500.
Put your hands up, boy, and don't move. Turn around, slow.
Your friend the sheriff staked out here too?
Just me.
Well, I was trying to steal your horse. At least to give this town something to talk about. Watching a hanging's more fun than most of these dead heads have had in quite a spell. Let's go.
Hanging's too easy. Besides, it's over too quick. I've got some other plans for you.
What?
I think I'll put you to work. Right here at the Circle A.
All the hands know that I'm a horse thief? See, they know it too.
Nobody's gonna know about it but you and me.
I'll bet.
That's right, it's a bet. I'm betting you're a loudmouth with no guts. That once Celia finds it out, she wouldn't give you the time of day.
Bonner didn't say anything?
No, I never knew a thing about it until Daddy said he was giving you a job on Vince's recommendation.
Well, Bonner gave me this job for just one reason. He thinks I can't do it. And you watch. He'll make it so I can't do it.
Don't say that. Vince's the most fair-minded man in the world.
Well, I got a surprise for good old fair-minded Vince Bonner. Whatever he dishes out, I can take.
It'll be wonderful seeing you every day.
I know, honey. Boss's daughter don't mix with the hired hands. Now, you remember that.
After I'd tried him on everything else, I thought I'd give him a crack at our rock garden. Never knew a ranch yet that didn't have rocks to be cleared. I see you're keeping busy.
Thanks. There's more rock and shale over on the south slope. You want me to clear that next?
No, I got some chicken coops I want you to whitewash.
Yes, sir.
Let me see that hand.
I'll wash them, teacher.
After you finish here, go over to Jeb. Get him to put something on those blisters.
Thanks, nurse. Back in Kansas, we used to feed our livestock bean cake. Puts weight on them fast and it's cheap.
Missed out we could grow beans here.
Oh, you kidding? Austin's got plenty of water on the northeast quarter section. Gravity flow. Beans practically jump out of the ground.
Tell it to vent.
You tell it to vent.
Don't be a fool, kid. Any hand comes up with a good ID, Vince sees you get a bonus.
I'll tell you what, Jeb, old boy. You can take the beans, the bonus, and Bonner. I give them to you free and clear.
Smith. Thanks for the tip about the beans.
It's Jeb's idea.
The last idea Jeb had was to raise on a busted flush. It's a good idea. Why disown it?
Well, I never did hold with bringing an apple to the teacher. Or beans either.
Come in. Sit down, Johnny. I expect you want to know why I sent for you. Well, they found the thief that robbed the express office. Also, we had a bet, remember? I said something about...
all mouth, no guts.
Yeah. Well, I think I was wrong. Sid, you think so, too. You know, there's a lot to this woman's intuition business. And Celia's quite a little woman.
Mr. Bonner, I'd like to tell you something.
Go ahead.
Well, first off, Josie Collins was my mother.
What?
Was. She's dead now. Over in Centerville, all alone, in a shack.
I'm sorry, Johnny.
Well, she gave me that $1,000. Sent it to me. That's how I knew I had a mother. Who she was. And where. I was raised in an orphanage back in Kansas, and I was found out to a farmer. And always I dreamed about finding my folks. Well, I found her.
Sid, you know this?
No. I guess I better be moving on.
Why?
right to see you. With my family tree. I can see that now.
Johnny, that's one good thing about this part of the world. It's what you are yourself that counts.
I'd have to tell her.
I think so.
Her father?
Her father, too.
He'd never in the world.
But not right now. Not for a while yet. You just go on doing like you have been doing. Finishing your job day by day. And I imagine in a little while he'll come around.
John Payne, starring in The Restless Gun.
The Indians say when the wind stops, even a tumbleweed has to rest. And so it was with Leo Jepson, a man whose home had been his saddle.
Can you stay and visit a while, Vince? We're pleased to have you.
I've taken a job with a cattle farm up near Kingston. I'm leaving early in the week.
You're always welcome.
Thank you, Mary. You take good care of your mom, boy.
Yes, sir.
He sure has grown, Mary. More than half a head since the last time I saw him.
You just haven't seen him for a while.
Give another couple of years and he'll take over for you.
Gotta get to town. Arnold Kessler's been gunned bad.
How do you suppose it happened?
I'll see you in town, Mary.
Can we go see?
Mr. Bonner went in there? Yeah. Golly, Kyle. He come up here just to see you, me and Mom and Pa. Well, you're gonna fix it so as I can meet him this time, ain't you? Yeah, I might.
Is he?
The worst kind of killing I've ever seen.
You can say that again.
Look at this.
His arm's nearly been blown apart.
6 bullets in it. 3 in the leg.
He's been riddled from top to bottom, like a sieve.
Who in the world would do a thing like that?
Find the man who did it. Ask him.
Uncle Kester. I knew him.
Well, he's been trapping around here for years. Could be you've seen him the last time he was in town.
Where do you run his traps?
He's got a cabin up by Virgil Lake.
That's where me and Goff found him, sprawled out in the yard.
Did he say anything before? Anything at all?
Not a thing. He went out like that the minute we come on him.
What do you got on your mind, Ben?
Sheriff, let you and I take a look at that cabin.
All right. Sure he wasn't robbed. There's beaver pelts all over the place. Find something?
Come here, take a look at these prints.
Could be Kester's. Could be anybody's.
Belong to a man with a crippled right leg.
It's for sure the right one ain't as clear as the left.
Come on.
Where are we going?
Your office, take a look at some of the old files.
What do you expect to find there?
The man who killed Kester.
What are you stopping here for?
Going over to the office and pull out those files. You want in here a minute.
Right.
There you are. You get that off right away for me? All right.
Well, give it to me. Son.
Oh, yes, Boss.
You find something? Whose name are you looking for? Look, Vint, I'm the sheriff of Mount Verde, remember? Now, if you got secrets about this, keep them from somebody else.
Will Gerard.
You say something?
This should tie the knot, Tim.
Who is this fella Gerard?
A vicious, cold-blooded killer. Leo and I hunted him down some years ago, over near the Hualapai Reservation.
That was over 8 years ago. What's this Gerard got to do with Arnold Kester?
A couple of posse members got to him before we did. Shot him up pretty bad.
Well, what about it?
He kept saying that he tried to surrender, but the people were scared and they kept up a steady fire. He had one leg ruined and he lost his right arm.
And Kester over there dead with his... This fella Gerard, wasn't he hung?
No. He was given life and sent to the state prison.
And you figure he busted out, huh?
And so that should be at the telegraph office now.
Mr. Bonner! Mr. Bonner! So we got for you, Mr. Bonner.
With the speed and service you offer, you don't need any telegraph wires here.
You called it, Vint. You called it real good.
Prison described, killed guard, escaped past 24 hours. Will Francis Gerard, dangerous. Utmost caution, W.L. Meade.
So we got us a killer. Nat Corey. Vint, he lived just outside of town.
Which way?
You think Gerard's going to try for him, too?
Let's not waste any time thinking. right on.
Fine. Just fine. He pulled it off just like we invited him in.
And he may not be through yet. There's still Leo Jepson.
Leo? Leo's a long time dead.
Yeah, but his wife and boy aren't.
You don't think that...
How can you tell what a mind like that would do? Look, go to town and get some boys for a search party. I'll go on ahead up to Leo's. I'll see you there.
Told him about that telegram, Mr. Bonner. Figured that Kyle and his mom would want to hear about this escaped murderer.
You just give all kind of service, don't you, boy?
Vin, do you think this man might have come to Mount Verde?
Looks that way, Mary. He's already killed 2 men today. Arnold Kester this morning and now Nat Corey.
Good Lord.
Golly, why do you want them, Vint? Or is he just killing whoever he comes on to?
He's got another reason. Mary, I'd like to talk to you alone before the posse gets here.
All right. Up the car steps, both of you.
Sit down. I don't think there's any danger to you.
Get it! Somebody, here they are!
So they are. They're looking all over town for you.
Well, Ma knows I'm here. She said I could stay the night if Kyle's mother didn't mind.
It's all right, Mr. Mass. We enjoy having Donnie with us.
We're prepared to search every nook in the county till he's found.
That's good, Tim. We'll leave a couple of men here, front and back.
Right.
It's like I said, Mary, it's just a precaution.
Oh, we'll be all right. You just be careful.
Mass, you stay here and cover the back of the house. All right, men, let's move out.
All right, back to bed.
Sound out there. Can you? I don't see why we can't take part in the hunt. We ain't old enough. Who ain't old enough? Maybe you ain't old enough. I'm as old as you. Yeah, but I can handle a rifle good. So can I. Not like I can. Who says so? That deer I shot Monday. That's who says so. Why, heck. I let you have first crack at him. Yeah, and I got him. Clean. So would I have. Maybe. you we could sneak through. Huh? Through Pa and them others. Sneak right on by. What for? Well, I don't know about you, but I bet Vint and the sheriff could use our help right now. Well, then why didn't they ask us? What? With my pa standing there? Well, you can go ahead if you want to. Not me. Oh, you're just scared is all. I ain't scared of nothing you ain't scared of. No? Then what are we waiting for? Coons and an owl. What do you want to do? Well, go on, naturally. Yeah, well, I don't know. Where's your hunting spirit? Back in my old bed. Look, all one needs a little rest. Bet you even Mr. Bonner rests now and again. I feel better already. You? Yeah. 5-10 minutes. That's all we need.
Take it easy, Donnie. What do you mean, he's got him?
Like I say, he's got him. And he's holding him. For you.
For me?
That's right. He's wanting you, Mr. Bonner.
Where is he?
He took Carl up to Kester's place. And he's wanting you to meet him up there. Or Carl's gonna be dead.
How do you know Vint was here?
I told him. He was acting real nasty. And I said if he didn't stop that, Vint Bonner would get him. But good. Must be something wrong with him. Because after I said that, He acted real happy.
What are you talking about, boy?
He said getting Vint Bonner would make up for Leo Jepson being dead. Golly, I'm sorry me and Kyle stirred up all this trouble, Mr. Bonner. We was just wanting to help out.
Save your sorry for when your pa gets back. Then you'll have something to be sorry for.
Never mind that. How long ago did he leave for Kester's place?
About an hour.
You better go inside. You're bone cold.
He said if you don't go up there alone, Mr. Bonner, Kyle would be dead, with no questions asked. I think he means it, 'cause he said he don't care nothing about his own life.
Vince, you're not going in there alone, are you?
That's what he ordered.
Ordered? That man's a vicious killer.
Well, what do you expect me to do? Let the boy die?
Vint, what are you going to do when you meet him?
Mary, I don't know.
I think it doesn't matter, because it's hopeless.
Don't say that. Nothing's ever hopeless. Now go on inside. How do you face a man who lives for only one reason, to take what has been taken from him, and who now holds a young boy to ensure his taking it? If it's true that nothing is ever hopeless, then there had to be a way out somewhere, somehow. I guess it was just up to me to find it. And I didn't have much time.
Pull up, Mr. Bonner! You alone, I take it?
I'm alone.
I'm sure Mr. Bonner's here all by himself. Because we all know what it'll be like if he ain't.
I tell you I'm alone, Gerard.
Hey, you remember me. You remember my name. Well, I remember you. You and them others. What you done to me.
I didn't do anything to you.
Well, maybe not direct, but you allowed it to happen.
Allowed what?
There's no need to talk about it now. We know what it was.
If you're talking about getting shot up, Leo and I got there after it had happened to you.
Well, now, that ain't the way I remember it.
Then your memory's bad.
Hey, that's right. It's bad. Bad for you. Now get down. Slow. Drop your gun, please.
The boy gets out of here first.
Now you just do as I say.
It was supposed to be me for the boy. You going back on your bargain? Stand easy, Kyle.
Here now, I give the orders. Drop your gun.
Gerard, aren't you satisfied? You've killed enough men.
You obey me, here? That's right. Now move over a little, huh?
Why do you want to kill me, Gerard?
Huh? Well, I don't want to kill you. I just want your right arm. So at night when you feel for it, you'll remember it's gone. You're laughing. What for you laughing at me? The others cried. But you go on. You go on. Keep laughing. Just stick out your arm. Yeah? Just stick out your arm, or this boy's dead.
Hold it, Gerard.
Your arm. Boy, where's your arm?
I got it shot off 2 years ago in a gunfight.
You're lying. Bonner, you're lying. Get your arm. Bonner!
It's true, Gerard. I'll show you.
No. No!
It's all right, boy.
Man, I thought we were gonna get it for sure. How'd you know it would work?
I wasn't sure. But I knew we had only one goal, and if we had a chance, that had to be it.
How do you mean?
Well, generally when you take a man's goal away, it upsets him for a while anyway.
Yeah. If there ain't no place to go to, a man sure can't get to it.
That's the idea, but you've got a place. That's home. Come on. Every once in a while, as you travel, you run into a water hole that's been poisoned. Usually the reason isn't too hard to find. But I wonder how the human mind gets poisoned.
Bob Jefferson, whom I'd worked with when he surveyed the railroad route through Gorsom Pass, had asked me to look in on Father Luke at Santa Rosa Mission. Said he wanted to talk to me. I couldn't figure out how he knew me in the first place, and since I hadn't had much to do with priests, I was a little nervous.
Come in, come in.
Father Luke?
Yes, and you must be Mr. Bonner.
Yes, sir.
Come in, Mr. Bonner, and make yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
How long has it been since you were inside a church, Mr. Bonner?
Oh, well, too long, Father.
Well, we're human in spite of what some people say. Please, sit down and relax. I'm sure it must have been a tiresome trip. A little wine, perhaps. We make it ourselves. We're very proud of it.
No, thank you. Father, I understood you wanted to transact some business with me. The word I got was urgent.
If it's business you want, business you shall have. Mr. Bonner, I sent for you because your name has come to stand for courage and integrity in this territory.
How can I help you?
Ours is an order of missionaries, Mr. Bonner. Some of us, myself included, have established missions in the most remote parts of this country. One such mission has not been heard from in much too long a time. I have been assigned to go to that mission and see that all is well with the priest.
Well, that shouldn't be difficult for you, Father. If I were to guess, I'd guess you to be an experienced trailhand.
You'd guess wrong. I have been concerned with other things. I need a guide, Mr. Bonner. A good one. I need you.
I'm not a professional guide, Father. Of course, if I knew the country...
I understand you know it well. Our trip will start here at Santa Rosa, go over into Arizona to Santo Domingo.
Santo Domingo?
Yes.
But that's strictly Indian country. I don't believe there's been a white man in there for years.
There has been one, and I must find him.
Could be dangerous, Father. There are no trails. We'd have to make our own.
I'm prepared for that.
I hope you are.
Well, the tally checks out just fine, Father. You've bought enough beans and meal to supply a whole army.
That's an interesting comparison.
I don't suppose you'd be willing to consider changing your mind.
I put it off much too long already. There'll be no more delays.
That about sums it up. We're ready to move.
Oh, Mr. Bonner, there is something else that I should tell you.
What's that?
The supplies on that wagon are not just for the two of us. There will be others on the trip.
That's a welcome surprise to me, Father. We can use a couple of good hands on country like that.
No, I'm afraid you don't quite understand. Good afternoon, sisters. Please come in. Mr. Bonner, Sister Marquette, and Sister Teresa.
Mr. Bonner, I'm very proud to meet you.
I'm happy to meet you, sister. And you, too.
Indeed, Mr. Bonner.
Father, I'm anxious to meet our passengers.
You just have.
The sisters?
That's correct, Mr. Bonner.
They are nurses as well as teachers. We are told that the Indian women and children are badly in need of such care.
They've been in need of such care for centuries. A little while longer won't make any difference.
A little while longer will bring snow, and that will mean the delay of another year.
Those Indians are hunting scalps, not reading and writing.
I don't hand out the assignments. I just accept them.
Father, it was bad enough to hope that you and I could make it alone. With these women along, we don't stand a chance.
You are a man of very little faith, Mr. Bonner.
I know the country better than you, Father.
You may know the country.
Excuse me, Father. May I have a word? Mr. Bonner, we have not come this far just to cause trouble. I think you know that. But we have our missions to accomplish. If we're successful, maybe it won't be so dangerous for the next ones.
I'm sorry I lost my temper. I realize that to ask a man to participate in a cause in which he's not really a part...
Do you think these sisters know just what such a trip means?
I think we know, Mr. Bonner.
I think you don't, sister. Have you ever seen an Indian smeared with war paint, with a scalping knife in his hand? Have you seen men and women staked out on the plain to die in the sun?
No, and I don't think you have, Mr. Bonner.
What can I do to convince you people?
Is it possible that I overestimated you, Mr. Bonner?
It's entirely possible, Father. I'm sorry. Good day.
Just a minute, sisters.
Here, sister, let me help you. There you are, Father.
Good morning, Mr. Bonner.
You know, I still couldn't believe that you intended to make this trip.
Oh, there's one more thing. If you'll give me a hand, it'll only take a minute. Then you can be on your way and we'll be on ours, huh?
Mighty handsome bell, Father.
I don't suppose it makes any difference to the Lord. But a mission doesn't seem complete to me without a bell.
Or a priest?
Sun's getting high, Mr. Bonner. The sisters and I should be hitting the trail.
Hold it, Father. If I can't talk you out of this trip, well, the least I can do is
go along with you.
You have a very great talent. It isn't every man who can make one feel at home out in the middle of nowhere.
Think nothing of it, sister.
I think you should make some girl a very acceptable husband.
Coming from Sister Teresa, I would consider that a compliment of the greatest proportion.
Father, maybe you can tell me something. Why is it that women, all of them, always want to talk about marriage?
I would hardly consider that a basis for complaint, Mr. Bonner. Somewhere inside you, she sees a gentleness, a kindness. Like every other young woman, she doesn't want to see it go to waste.
But she's a nun.
And she's a woman, Mr. Bonner.
About 3 or 4 hours. We just as well stay there for the night. It's as good a place as any among these bluffs.
Well, now we'll get some rest, huh?
Thank you.
Thank you, sister.
You do wonders with these dried beans, Sister Teresa.
It's a simple formula, Father. A cup of beans, a little luck, and 2 very hungry men who would eat anything after 4 weeks on the trail.
Amen.
I've got a favor to ask, Father.
Anything at all, Mr. Bonner?
Well, it's this Mr. Bonner business. Would you mind calling me Vint? All these Mr. Bonners will spoil me for when I get back among just everyday folks.
Well, speaking for myself, I should be delighted. As for Sister Teresa, you'll have to take that up with her yourself.
Well, sister?
I would consider it an honor, Vint.
Thank you.
Put it off. Wouldn't have softened the blow.
It looks like you've come a long way for nothing.
No, Vint. This is a beginning.
We are 2 men and a girl, Father. This was done by Apache warriors. They don't play by your rules.
Have we given them much chance?
What about the girl?
Sister Teresa may return with you if she wishes. That is a decision you will have to get from her.
Sister, we've come far into dangerous country. The Indians raided the mission once. They can do it again. If you wish, I'll take you back to your convent.
I know that you're only thinking of us. But what you see around you is not the product of defeat. It's more a reminder of all the work there is to be done. If I am to help, I must be where I am needed.
To do a man's work?
God's work.
Well, Father, you got your bell.
A truly beautiful sight.
It's wonderful, Father.
50, 100 years from now, when men have forgotten the differences that caused the bloodshed here, they will still see the bell. But enough preaching for today. I think we owe ourselves a little celebration.
Leave him here. We've got to help him. We can't just leave him there. We can't leave him there. We've got to help him. But he's hurt. He'll die if we don't go back.
It's too late, sister.
No.
He's dead.
My father's
He's got an arrow clear through him. He was a fine man, but he was only a man.
And us? What about us?
We can wait. It was a typical Apache trick. Distract with terror and then wait for panic.
Anything?
I can't figure it out. They should have rushed us by now. She was frightened, I think, but she didn't show it. She had real courage.
Is there any chance for us?
Some, maybe.
You can be truthful with me.
Sister, I don't know how many there are of them, but there's only 2 of us. These people haven't changed their customs for hundreds of years. To them, you'll be like any other white woman. They'll have no respect for what you wear or what you stand for. This could be it. I didn't know what to expect, but this could be the bait. I decided to hold my fire. Since he was alone, I'd better not show my hand yet. Looked like he was wounded, but I had learned long before to never trust appearances where an Indian was concerned. collared shirt meant he could be a chief's son. He was hurt all right. Looked like he'd taken a bad fall.
There. That ought to keep it clean until he can get back to his own people.
You want to let him go?
Yes.
Let every brave in the countryside know that there's only two of us here?
I wouldn't be surprised if they know it already, Mr. Bonner. He's only a boy. I want you to let him go.
For the life of me, I cannot say why. But I did as she said.
I admire your trust, sister. But we're getting out of here, even if I have to tie you hand and foot to do it. If you're wrong, we'll be dead by nightfall. If I'm wrong, we'll live a little while longer.
And Father Luke?
I'll dig a place for him.
By his bell, Mr. Bonner. I think he would like it like that.
This was borrowed time, all of it. By everything I knew, both of us should be dead by now. He broke the war arrow. I could hardly believe my eyes. That one act of Christian charity could conquer an Apache war party seemed impossible. Buffalo hides, blankets, each brought a peace offering. sister. Let me add mine.
Vint, I already have much more than I can ever spend.
Someday you'll have need of it. I knew she would be safe. It says in the book that faith can move mountains. It seems more important to me that it can move people.